taking care of myself in general helps that feeling.
What you just need to know when you feel desperately lonely.
Do I remember that?
Yeah.
Do I remember our wedding?
Yeah, do you remember? As if England would allow someone to sneak into the palace. What's up, guys? Welcome to Outer Place with Megan and Sherell. I'm Sherell.
And I'm Megan. You did that out of order this time.
I went first.
I come first.
Wow.
My name
I
comes
didn't
first.
realize we had like a set order.
The first shall be last. The last shall be first.
Well, you were first
So
last
you're
time,
first.
so now I'll be first because I went last time.
That's too complicated. All I know is the show is called With Megan and Sherell.
But I'm black.
I don't see what that has to do with anything at all ever, frankly.
Anyway.
Just kidding.
How you doing, baby?
What is that?
It's just like oy vey.
Oy vey de velgevish.
Sure.
Sorry.
So Megan has got COVID.
No. Sorry about that. Do you ever just have like you swallow it in the wrong pipe?
Never happens to me.
Yes, it does.
No.
It's happened many times.
So why'd you ask?
And then it gives you asthma attacks sometimes, and it's scary.
Sometimes I inhale water, and it is unpleasant. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see.
I have my tea. Party! Woohoo! Me and Sherell have tea today.
Yay.
It's the tea time.
I mean, I've consistently had tea, I feel like.
Does that make you better than me?
Yes.
Just because I had coffee last time and you had tea.
Anyway, how's your day going, babe?
It's going well. We just finished. What's it called? Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Oh.
The movie on Amazon.
It was actually a book first. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that. I think we heard about it from one of our friends.
Yes, multiple friends of mine are obsessed with the book, and I tried to get into the book, and I was bored.
I truly tried to get into the book. Like, I think I listened on Audible. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. I listened to like a little bit until, well, spoilers. I won't say spoilers. Until something crazy happens at the party in like the first scene, like.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I listened that far in the book, and then I got a little bit bored after that. But what'd you think of the movie?
Well, I think the book would be great. I also tried to listen to it, and I just don't think I was vibing with the Audible version.
No, what'd you think of the movie?
My honest opinion.
Your honest critic rating.
Did you hear that? I had like a dragon in my throat.
A dragon in your throat?
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
I didn't hear that.
My honest opinion is that I didn't really think it was that good.
Okay. We liked it near the end, though.
Yes. It was like, okay. It's like once you accept that it's going to be at a certain level of a movie, then you can just enjoy it.
Yeah, it was like Hallmark.
It was like a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark level of production and acting.
Yes, and writing.
But like we genuinely enjoyed it, and then like near the end, it was heartfelt, I would say.
It was very unrealistic. That's why I think that's why it bothered me, because this whole movie, certain people are sneaking around. So the precedent of this is the president's son, the president of America's son, and the king of England's grandson. Mm-hmm. So the prince of England and the first
Duke. I think
son.
he was formerly known as a duke. Is that
I think
the
he's
same
formerly
as a prince?
no, but he is formerly known as the prince in the movie. He's a prince.
Right.
Also, can't you be a duke and a prince at the same time?
This would be a good question for England.
For all our English listeners, let's look this up.
We'll have to look that one up.
I'm gonna look this
while
up.
Sherell's confirming fact or fiction on this. There were some things that might not be realistic, like a person of royalty and the president's child walking around, meeting at a bar, walking around a neighborhood, just no security. What was it? The Secret Service. Like, they just weren't around. And I was like, they can't just walk around like normal people.
Yeah, I think that's also the answer to the question. Yes, you can be a prince and a duke at the same time. Prince Harry is a prince and a duke. Was.
What's a duke?
Baby, I don't want to get into all of the royal titles of the monarchy. I just wanted to say, yes, you can be a prince and a duke at the same time. They're different titles.
Thank you for verifying that.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Anyway, yeah, it was ridiculous because, like, at my high school graduation, we had Secret Service at my graduation. And it was annoying because there were all these, like, rules for our graduation, like where you could stand, whose hands you could shake, who you couldn't walk behind. It was a whole thing.
I mean, I'm sure it's for like a good reason.
It was a great for a great reason. It's for safety.
Also, why were they there at your high school
I don't want to
graduation?
give away details, but we had high level people at my graduation ceremony.
That's pretty awesome.
But I'm not trying to give away like too many details about my personal life.
Or else
I'm not. Well, I just don't. There's some stuff that's just my life.
Yeah.
But yes, we had like high level government officials at my graduation, so there was Secret Service there, and it just wasn't like you didn't get away with a lot at graduation. Like they prepped us before my class graduated on how we were allowed to act. So then to watch a movie that is like a rom-com, which is totally fine. It's a rom-com, but they're just like running around and going to lake houses where quote unquote nobody knows about and running through the street at midnight and doing all this stuff. I'm like, that's not realistic. Like, how did you sneak into a palace? How?
I know. But yeah, so all of that to say, we had like a fun time critiquing it and all of that, but I found it entertaining in the end.
It was.
If you're looking for like a cute rom-com with a little smoky.
Yes, but if you're looking at it through like trying to be logical and realistic, like sometimes I do, you're just gonna be like, how, like as if England would allow someone to sneak into the palace. Sure. In the middle of the night. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm just gonna sneak into the White House. That's gonna go over well.
We know better. We sure do. We're not gonna try that.
I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try to get shot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, do you think they would just do that?
Yes, I do think
right
they would
off
just
the
shoot
bat.
you off the bat if you were trying to sneak into the White House.
Although, wait, the White House or the
January
Buckingham
6th.
Palace? Wait, I thought you were talking about.
I think sneaking into the White House or into Buckingham Palace is a good way to get yourself locked up or killed.
Deep trouble. Cool.
Anyway.
Well, I don't think anybody here would actually try that, but I think it's good that we talk about the risks.
Don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Don't. What was that thing? What was that thing for Leslie Knope?
Oh.
You're always saying it around the house.
Oh, recall Nope. Don't. It's like it's like there's a bunch of signs, like lawn signs.
What's this from?
Parks and Rec.
Okay, yeah.
She's like gonna get recalled and out of the office or whatever, and there's like a bunch of lawn signs, and she's like, dang it, they misprinted them. So she made little stickers that said don't, or no, the opponent was making signs that said recall Nope, and she said, we're going to put these little stickers on their signs.
That's good. That's a good strategy. You're not
she
spending your budget.
Question mark stickers and then don't stickers, and she said, let's do this. Recall Nope, question mark, don't. And they were like, why don't you just put the don't above recall Nope? I don't know. I just say that around the house.
It's more memorable. So now when you don't want to do something, you just say, don't. It's usually where it's coming out of.
Yeah.
Don't.
I basically use that all the time. So,
did you ever think about running for office, for any office?
nope.
Like getting into politics?
No. I'm not a leadership type of person. I'm not the people's person. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't have the persona. No, I don't know.
That it factor.
I don't have the it factor.
I doubt that. Yes, you do have the it factor.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not sure what that means. No, I'm not like a rallying like leader type of person. I'm more of like the secondhand man kind of guy.
So integrator versus visionary, or what?
Yeah. So what's that from? Rocket Fuel?
Yes.
There's a book called Rocket Fuel. You guys should listen to it.
Listen to it or read it.
I say listen because we only really do Audible.
That is not true. I read a lot of books, babe.
Okay. Well, there's a book called Rocket Fuel, and it is about, it's like self-improvement business type category book.
It's like team building and business for sure.
Yeah. And it's talking about how there's like two types of people. There's the visionary and there's the integrator. And the visionary, you will know who you are if you look at that book. They have like a little test, but you're like have big ideas. You're like goal oriented. How would you describe?
Well, I'm like 98% visionary.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta just go based off of me, but not all visionaries are like me. You're just always like, you're always thinking of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You always have your like finger on the pulse of what is trending, what's happening. You always want to do the next cool thing, but you don't always want to put all the systems in place.
You hate details and like...
I hate running the details. That's the thing. I like big vision, big picture.
Mm-hmm. And you like hype people up, like unintentionally even.
But those are also my strengths. Like
they are strengths.
Like having a vision for the future, hyping people up to get excited about it, and then like giving you a plan to get there. But anything to do with like running it daily,
like the systems,
it just tends to drain me. Like if I have to do the same thing day in and day out, even for my own business, doing the same exact thing day in and day out for forever by myself, that will drain me.
Oh, I think it's like visionary. So visionary is like the CEO, and visionary is the what, and then the integrator is the how, and like the CFO type person. And I am way more integrator, which means I like when you think of a random idea, which I don't just come up with ideas out of thin air, like that's not something natural. But if you have an idea for something such as a podcast, then you're like, I mean, you deep dive into stuff too, but I'm like,
that's
well, what about
baby? Yeah,
you do deep dive a lot. But if you say something, we need to do this, then I'll be like, okay, these things are what we need to do. These are the systems that we need to like do it. I don't know. Kind of work together in that way.
I think we're a pretty good team that way.
Like you could run for office or something, I could be your right hand woman.
You would be the first.
It could be your eye candy.
My arm candy. And my eye candy.
Arm candy.
Ooh, all kinds of candy.
Like wear like those heels and pearls and like a sleek like
you
blue
would be
dress.
Thriving. You would eat that up.
Walk around at the parties with like a martini or whatever.
You don't even like martinis.
But don't they do that?
Yes, like, but you don't like martinis.
With 2 olives, please.
You don't like olives at all.
I do sometimes.
You'd be like, can I get a cran vodka?
2 shots of tequila for the President Sherell's wife.
The first lady.
I don't know.
Why do they call them the first lady?
They're for sure not the first lady in the White House.
Can they call her the first woman? I like that. Seems more empowering.
Empowering. Yeah, actually, the first woman.
Like, what do they call if we ever did have a female president? Come on, America. What would we call the first,
If
like
she
the
was
her husband, if she was
heteros.
if she was hetero, what would her husband be?
The first man.
Then it should be
The
first woman and first man.
No, it would be the first like gentleman, because like gentleman and lady, maybe.
Hey Siri, what would we call the president's husband? It's never happened.
Something said first lady, but I feel like they don't know what you're asking.
Yeah, they're like, we never have that. And
What do you call a president's husband? Let's see.
first laddie.
Wait, what? No, that's lady.
Laddie, Laddie.
Is that for real? Like, did they decide
No, it's
this?
a joke. It's a joke Bill made.
Bill Clinton.
Yes. I guess he could make up whatever he wanted to be called because he'd be the first one.
Or she would make it up for him because she'd be the president.
Well, I feel like he should be able to choose. Also, what if we have a gay man who wins and then he has a husband? Then his husband can decide what he wants to be called.
I guess.
Just saying.
I think we're just kind of like cross that bridge.
When we get to it, America's like,
We don't need to know that right now.
kick that can down the road.
Or maybe it's like, I mean, they probably have a plan in place, but maybe it's like a president's
This is
secret
America.
book.
You think we have a plan in
Like
place?
in National Treasure, how they have a secret book of president's knowledge in the library.
National Treasure counts for like real life.
Nicolas Cage. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, Nicky Cage.
I don't know any other movies except for National Treasure.
There's so many. The Knowing, that's a funny one. Well, it's not supposed to be funny, but I find it funny.
I don't know that one.
It's about aliens.
Didn't peg you for an aliens kind of gal.
I'm not an aliens kind of gal. When have you ever seen
I
me
didn't know
be
you
like,
were-
I really want to watch that alien movie?
That's true. You're more of like sharks and
Sharks.
like Jaws. What was that? Like the one that's not Jaws.
The
but
Meg?
Yeah, didn't you like want to watch that?
Yeah, with you because I want you to watch something scary.
Oh, it's not gonna happen. I've only ever watched scary movies in high school with like friends, mainly with like friends. I don't know.
Well, maybe you could watch it with our new group of friends.
Yeah.
They like scary movies.
That's
Fun
true.
fact, Megan and I have made some cool new friends.
Yeah. And if they're listening to this whole new level of friendship.
Yeah, how did that go? We were nervous about that.
That's good. Sherell is the mastermind, I would say.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh. Yay. Well, Sherell, the mastermind of all masterminds.
Ooh.
She has started like meeting people in various circumstances, and she was like, oh my gosh, we would all be really good friends. They both have partners, and it's like a group of 3 couples, and we just all got drinks together.
Yeah, we didn't all even know each other. It was just
Yeah.
like, I know you and I know you, but you all don't know each other. But I think all of us would be friends.
From our different like, just like from running into
Different
like
circles.
from work and from something else. It's
Yeah.
like, so she was kind of the mastermind.
Ooh,
You say, why do you say that every time?
'cause I like it.
Brought us all together for drinks, and we were like, we're all super fun together. So now,
Well, we think we're super fun. I'm not sure everyone else in the restaurant thought we were that fun.
well, the lady like, didn't you say she like,
She stopped serving us drinks. I'm not going to put the bar on blast. But we
Well,
were
no,
there
of
for a
course
couple
not.
hours, and she only gave us like 1 round of drinks.
I think it was like well, she said like, do you guys want anything else? I think it was like one of those places where like very little contact. Like there's some places where they come over every 5 seconds and they're like, how are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? And it's like, okay, we get it. You're trying to like rush us out of here. But she was very like hands off, I would say.
I enjoyed that because like
The waitress. I don't know if people know what we're talking about.
yeah, I enjoyed the like not constantly all over us and all over our shoulder, because in Europe they do that. Like they just kind of let you sit. The table is yours for the night. They're not trying to rush you out.
Yeah, there are some places like here that I've only
know
seen
why?
one place where they say specifically you're limited to like I think 1 hour, and I was like, oh my, I've never felt so unwelcome.
I think it's because like servers in Europe are getting paid irregardless of your presence. They're not getting paid based off of your tips. In fact, you don't really tip in Europe.
That's true, but people here get paid hourly.
Well,
right?
most servers get their main money from their tips.
Interesting. So then what do they make like minimum wage per hour, or do they make like,
if that?
Isn't that illegal?
I don't know. I think you'd have to ask a server.
I would have
I know
to.
that they're not making bank as a server, so their main money comes from their tips. And then so they're like busting their ass trying to get everybody in and through. But in Europe it's like, nope, I'm getting paid regardless. So they also don't have to put up with your bullshit if they don't like you.
That's good. Honestly, that would be a good quality, because I don't know about those fake people.
Fake people?
I don't know, like if they're fake being nice or something, but they're like,
oh,
I don't remember what I was saying, but we had a good time.
We had a great time. She just kind of forgot about our table.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, like, I wonder if she thinks we've had too much to drink. She would know that we didn't have too much to drink because we only got like one glass of something, but we were being very like loud, like we were laughing really hard and having such a good time that I'm like, I wonder if we've been cut off.
Yeah, honestly, it was probably just our fault. We could have gone up to the bar and ordered more.
That's true.
But we were just enjoying
probably just
what we
reading
were doing.
way too much into
Probably.
this.
We're probably just being very spoiled. We're being ruined.
Oh yeah, what did we say about
Rotten.
spoiled? We've gone bad.
We've gone bad.
Quite frankly.
No, it was fun connecting with those people.
We have a lot of friends out here that we really love spending time with, but a lot of them are like
Older than us.
a little bit older than us and a little bit more settled down. We love them to death, and we love having wine and cheese nights. And we just realized we don't have any friends where we live that were like in their 20s or 30s. Like,
we don't
like
have any friends that'll like go to a bar and laugh our asses off about doing High School Musical karaoke.
Yeah, just
and
like
now we
ridiculous
do
stuff.
So
yeah, I'm excited for the start of something new.
Nice.
I didn't even mean to, and then I went into it, leaned
that's
into
amazing. I'm glad that you did that.
Thank you.
Funny. You're a funny person.
Oh, wash up.
I enjoy your sense of humor.
Thank you. I have such a funny, like, weird sense of humor that it took a while for me to find someone that truly got it.
Yeah. Well, you are weird.
I know that for a fact.
But I am too, so it worked.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like lonely out here?
Dun dun dun.
Like, I've lived out here for like the better part of a decade, and I don't know if I've ever felt like lonely, but when we met up with our friends, it was like like a breath of fresh air. It was like refreshing, like, oh yeah, I was missing this part of my life, because we have really, really great heart friends, but so many of our friends are like doing music, or they're in their own bubble with their own marriage, or they have a kid or whatever. Like, they're
not drop everything at once to go see the newest movie with you.
No, they're not like do daily life with friends. And we have some of those, but like now we have a lot more of those.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I forgot, like, I like this because you and I can go so like hermit.
Well, we kind of adapt to our surroundings, I feel like sometimes. So like we have become so like settled down in a way, like,
which is very weird.
We've
because
become
we're young.
very tamed, and yeah, like I said, like the wine and cheese nights, or like game nights. I love all that stuff, but like we haven't been wild in a little while.
Yeah, or like out here with so many music friends. I feel like a lot of the times we see our friends is at something for music. So then you forget to go to the beach together because you just saw each other for so-and-so's gig, you know? Like, everything's kind of about the music or about the hustle, which I respect. One of my mentors says that he never calls his friends away from their family unless he's making them money.
Yeah, I think that's like in a different phase of life for us, maybe, like not right now. I don't know.
Yeah, well, right now I want the friends that I'm like, dude, let's just go get a beer. you know?
Yeah, I think we've gotten a little bit refreshed recently with our friendships. To answer your question, well, the only time I really felt super lonely, I mean, you're kind of like used to people and community, and you like are really good at creating community. I kind of have my set like friends that I can be like weird around.
Well, and you had a unique situation where you had the same set of close friends from high school that you did in college that you do after college.
Yeah, and I think like one summer I was in the house, like me and my roommate's house from college, and I stuck around during the summer in the area, and they had all gotten like internships outside of the area. So I like had like maybe one friend that I was hanging out with throughout the summer that was really nice. But some evenings I just like was alone, and it was like where you're arguing with yourself constantly about I should figure out how to socialize, and then but I want to stay home, and then you just get really sad and lonely, and you end up like listening to Billie Eilish on the floor crying and watching Netflix.
Are you serious? Was that you?
Maybe once.
That's dark and sad.
It felt really dark. I mean, it's like it's fairly easy to go out and make friends, but at the same time feels really hard when you're like in conflict with yourself like that. I think it was like a muscle that I hadn't had to use.
I get that.
And then also the other time that I was like super lonely was like you were working the night shift.
Oh yeah, that was hard.
I was working in the day, and so I had like every evening was open for me, but you had gone to work.
Well, I would be sleeping until like 7, and then I'd have to get ready for work. So it was like my morning.
Yeah, and I like gotten used to us just like hanging out together, and so like I had leaned on that and it was easy. And then once you started doing that shift, I like had that struggle again of like being I'm like such a homebody, and then it's like I didn't have a lot of like if my sister lived in town or something, I would like be all set to go with my like friendship. But I don't know, like everybody had moved away, and I hadn't invested time in those other friendships, and it was just easier to stay at home, but also like self-detrimental. It kind of hurt me at the same time, even though it was like, this is comfortable to me, doing comfortable things in my own home, in my own space, and then feeling like lonely. That's when I wrote my song Come Home.
Oh babe,
it's like a really like moody,
it's a great song.
It's a really good song. I'm like glad that it came out of that. Yeah, it's called Come Home by Megan Stonson.
Plug.
Yeah, so I wrote that when I was feeling really sad. Man, I feel like this is getting like a little heavy.
No, go for it. I want to hear.
Let's make it happier.
No. I want to hear what you actually feel.
So I downloaded the Meetup app, and there's like young people's groups in the area, and I was like, I should start going to like, I think I like told you my heart. I was like, I'm gonna start going to like open mics again, because I stopped kind of going to like open mics when I started doing more like longer gigs and performances. But
also there was like a whole thing called COVID that had us all in
when was
lockdown
it?
for a while.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was like, I think this was slightly like when it started to slow down, but I was like wanting to go to open mics again like I used to like years ago, and it's just like more fun, and I wanted to like go and make friends at these like meetup groups, and I like had a whole plan of like, this is how I'm gonna like feel better.
Yeah.
And then I just like didn't do it as much as I wished I would, and sometimes I would like want to go to the meetup thing, but then I would like drive past the place like 2 or 3 times and then be like, because it's like nerve-wracking to like go, because it's like a group of strangers and you're like in a vulnerable position, like I have been feeling lonely, or like I need new friends. Like I tend to get really like in my head about that type of stuff. Some people it might be easy, like I'm new to town and I want to make friends, and you just like go. But for me it's like getting in my head, and so I'd be like driving past the place to like peer in to try to see what it looked like and what the people were like, and I don't like being put on the spot, so it's just scary walking into like a group of people and figuring out my place in there, and like just like way too in my head. Yeah, it's a hard place to be in. Although like I will say there's a point in my life in the past like year where I realized taking care of myself in general helps that feeling of loneliness too, like waking up and exercising or walking outside later in the day for like half an hour to an hour. It's just like doing
like
things.
Sunshine.
Yeah, doing things to like lift my spirits in other ways really truly helps. Because I think during that time when I was lonely, I was just like, both times I wasn't really taking care of myself and like getting up and moving. I wasn't reading. I wasn't like I don't know. I just wasn't like doing other things that would lift my spirits, and just staying like inside where it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a couple months ago or something, like you were hanging out with a friend and I was like having a stressful day or something, and you were like gone with a friend, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for a run after work and it'll make me feel better. And I did that and I felt a lot better, and it's just like a refreshing thing. Like I feel better in myself.
Taking care of your body helps take care of your brain, which helps with loneliness.
I think so. I really do, because when you're in your head, you can just stay there for so long and go in circles and just keep feeling worse. But if you find ways to like get out of your head, it's just much better. Like,
yeah, I think for myself, like I do agree, like taking care of your body helps with your mental health. I think for me, because I've been like lonely before, different seasons of my life. I can't really like, I don't know why. I feel a little detached about loneliness, you know? Maybe just because I don't feel lonely and I haven't in a while. But I can see, as if I'm reading a book of somebody else, I can see seasons of my life where I've been desperately lonely. But I don't feel it anymore. You know, I don't feel that like hurt or sting anymore.
I don't really either. It's just mainly because like I'm most of the time with you or talking on the phone with people or doing stuff outside. Like I feel like I've grown a lot of good habits that have helped me feel better in general.
Yeah. What I was saying was like, I can point to like seasons of my life where I knew that I was lonely, and that's the thing, like sometimes you can be lonely and it's really not too much in your control. Like when I was in foster care, I was lonely. It wasn't in my control. Or like being queer in a Christian home, not being able to talk about that. Like I was lonely, but it wasn't really in my control. You know, so there's like,
it wasn't like a loneliness because of like lack of friendship.
Yeah, sometimes you're in situations where you're just lonely. Like say your job has brought you to a location where you don't know anybody or anything, or you don't speak the language yet. And so then you can be really, really lonely. Or when we were all on lockdown in COVID, like not everybody got to be on lockdown with their favorite person. So a lot of people have been really, really, really lonely, you know? And even just like some people in their marriages that they don't know how to communicate with each other, and they go through a rough patch, and then they don't have community around them, and they don't feel like they can talk to anybody about it, and they feel lonely. Like I think it's common to feel lonely, and it's not always in our like control. Like
so I mean, sorry.
No, go for it.
Well, like it sounds like there's different like levels of loneliness / friendship / feeling understood. So maybe like that's a very deep level, and I think some of those things, like the circumstantial things, maybe would, instead of like, oh, you just need to like take care of yourself and get out of your head and do things that are healthy and find friends, like that deeper level perhaps could use a professional that could hold your hand.
Yeah, because like I feel like it's very easy to give somebody a checklist, or to give ourselves a checklist of like, I feel this, here's my checklist to stop feeling this or to start feeling this. It's easy to know cognitively all the right things to do.
Yeah, or even like, I'm feeling lonely, I need to call my friend. Sometimes that's hard, but if you feel misunderstood, even if you have friends, like, I don't know, that's just like a deeper level.
I think what I'm trying to say is sometimes what you just need to know and what you need to hear when you feel desperately lonely is that you still matter and you are loved. And it's not a checklist of here's all the things that you can do to stop feeling lonely. You don't need a checklist first and foremost. You need to know that you are loved. And you need to know that you matter. Like in my loneliest seasons, when I struggled with suicide and those things, I just needed to know that I was seen and loved and that I mattered. That somebody on this whole wide planet knew me, saw me, and I mattered to them. So if that's you and you're feeling like super lonely right now, like you do matter, you are seen, and you are loved. And then from there, like, you should reach out and get help. You know, like finding a good therapist. If you are an adult and you are autonomous, you luckily can choose therapy.
And you deserve it, I would say. I mean, both of us have seen counselors individually at different seasons, like when we felt alone in certain things or needed help, and it really, at least for me, it was good in the times I needed it.
Yeah. I've had so much therapy, so yeah, it's been, not all the therapists were great, but then I fired them and found a different one. Yeah, so therapy is really awesome. And then, like, as far as the things that we can control, there are things to do that are helpful, like you said, like going for a walk, finding purpose or joy in your hobbies and stuff. Like for me, I think the times where I feel the most lonely and misunderstood are the times where I feel purposeless.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to when I was like feeling the loneliness, and I think it was like a mixture of everything, like a mixture of figuring out who I was, what I was doing, feeling a little bit hopeless about things, and a mixture of like I wasn't giving myself, what are they, endorphins, like I wasn't taking care of my body and getting in the sunshine, like,
yeah, because there's like a chemical aspect to it too. It's like, what are we putting into our bodies? You can physically feel worse if you can mentally feel worse if you physically feel worse.
100%. And I don't work out every single day or anything like that, but like I know now for a fact, like I will feel better if I do that. But I think when I was really lonely, I probably could have used a little bit more like therapy or something to talk about it too. That wouldn't have hurt, for sure. I
get that. I think what's been helping me lately, like I don't really feel lonely. I feel pretty full. But that has been like in the last year, I've just been feeling really, really good.
Me too.
Mentally, because like since January in particularly, because I went through a really hard season in December. What's been helping me is finding purpose and spending a lot of time telling myself the truth about myself and my life. And really, really, really limiting all of these other voices that, would tell me I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not whatever enough. Like really, really limiting those voices. And you could be like, well, Sherell, when do you ever hear those voices? But I'm in the business world, and in the business world, it's super common to motivate each other by saying, you need to do more, you need to be more, you need to 10x your business, it needs to look like this.
Kind of like there's like the personal trainer. I've never had a personal trainer, but like
I've had some friends who are personal trainers.
If they like teach a class or something, which I've been to very few of, but like there are certain people that are very encouraging and see you as a person and like make you believe that you can do anything. And then there are certain people that are very like, come on, one more, like very,
do more, get up, come on.
It doesn't feel great.
I guess it might be a personality thing too, because Maybe. There are seasons where I'm like, push me. Yeah. And then there are seasons where I'm like, hold me. So,
It's like a relationship.
yes, it's like I sometimes I just need to cry, and I need that to be okay. I don't need this toxic pep talk all the time.
And sometimes I feel like I need to cry, but I need somebody to kick me in the butt.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's a both and.
It's an evolving thing.
It's a both and. I think we're in this season. Why do we always talk like that? Seasons. I think it's like the churchy thing.
At
My
this
church
moment in time, maybe.
Yes, my church always talks about, in this season.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't say that because it's like kind of summing up the present and a little bit of the past at the same time.
Yeah, I guess what we'll say is, in this current point in time, in this beautiful time of our lives, I feel really called to build community. Like, I feel it's really, really, really pressed on me to find good friends and invest in them.
And what does like feeling called to do something mean?
Like that thing inside me that is my knowing, that thing inside me that makes me feel alive, that makes me feel purposeful, that makes me feel like I am doing the thing that God has put me on this planet to do. It won't stop bugging me. Like it's a thing I can't shake.
Yeah.
So right now, that thing is like all of these creative endeavors that we're doing and these like long time dreams that we're now making realities with our businesses and our that kind of stuff. But right now it's also pulling people into community is my heart's pull right now.
It's one of your strengths too. You're a very good leader.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, like you see everyone, you see everybody's strengths, you are just good at relating to everybody, and like you see people and you see them better together.
Yeah. I just think that that's what we all need. Like, it's so easy to be wrapped up in all of the things that we're doing. And I see millennials like that. Like, we're all like, it's so easy to get so wrapped up in our little story and what we're doing and to get so focused. And then you look up and you realize that you don't have community around you and you don't have people that you can be vulnerable with, that you can cry with, that you can count on.
Or maybe those people live far away. Sometimes that's it too.
Yeah. Sometimes, sometimes they do live far away. And, we do have really, really great friends that live far away. But I'm just saying, like, it's so easy in our hustle culture that celebrates innovation and hard work and smart work. It's so easy to just be wrapped up in that and then to forget, hey, I need people that get me and have my back and I can lean on and be real with. I need people where I can take the mask off and don't have to hustle with.
How would you suggest, like, I think for you have a more natural time of like you meet somebody at a random place. I don't know if you're doing a gig or something.
Like I meet a girl in a bar.
No.
And she gets up and starts singing at the showcase.
What?
And I'm like,
no, you're talking
damn. Duh.
No.
Who else am I meeting?
It wasn't quite a bar. It was like a sandwich place that we met that had drinks too. What I was saying was like, if you run into somebody that you're like, oh my gosh, like they could be my friend potentially, or just like something might potentially be there, but you're like super nervous and a lot of people seem like they have it all together or they like already have their friend groups and you're like, I don't want to make that first step or like exchange numbers or be like, let's hang out sometime. Like, how do you figure out if that other person would want to hang out? How do you like,
oh my god, this like feels like dating.
What kind of is like,
it's like
that
friendship dating.
Yeah,
I don't know, because I'm not very good at that. Because I'll tell you, like growing up in Europe and then moving to California, I talk to my European friends about this all the time. Like, we have a hard time in America because particularly in California, everybody's like, oh, let's hang out, we should hang out, we should catch up. And then they don't like mean it.
Well, and for me, like sometimes I feel like in those moments I'm just so tired and I feel like I don't have time to have new friends, or I already have my people, even when, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think what I have been learning to do that has been giving me life in the years that I've lived in California, where it's hard to get to know people, I think what's been helping me build community is just remembering that everybody feels a little lonely. Everybody this sounds so fucking cheesy, but everybody needs a person. Everybody needs a friend.
You got a friend in me.
That, you know. Yes. Well, yeah, I feel like a little intentionality could bring you your new best friend.
Way. Little intentionality goes a long way.
I feel like you're joking and I was being serious.
I'm not. People say that. A little this goes a long way.
Yes, particularly with friends, like with meeting people. It's like, yes, it can be scary even for me to go meet people I've never hung out with before. And yes, I have all of the insecurities, like, what if I'm too obnoxious? What if my disability kicks in and it bothers people? What if X, Y, Z, you know? Like, I go through those things too. And what I just remember is like, hey, everybody needs friends. Everybody is feeling on the inside the same insecurities that I'm feeling. So
that's true.
If we could just cut past the bullshit, maybe we'll find some true friends. You know?
Yeah. At my college, like, orientation week or whatever, they had like a speaker come and like hype everybody up for starting college. And one of his big things is,
gonna be like, awesome. This is gonna cost your parents so much money.
He says that. He's really funny. He's called the Ripples guy on social media, but he like has a bunch of positive like phrases and stuff. But like one of his big things is like, okay, everybody take out your cool card and rip it up.
That's funny.
He's like, everybody has like a cool card and you just need to like rip it up.
Yeah, nobody's actually cool is what I've been finding out as a grown-up.
Basically.
And the people that you think are cool are definitely not the people that you grew up thinking were cool. Have you noticed that?
Wait, what?
Well, like when I was younger, I thought, oh man, this is what cool looks like. And none of those people are cool to me anymore.
I don't know.
Like quirky people are cool to me. People that are different are cool to me.
That makes sense.
Not people that walk around thinking that they're God's greatest gift to mankind.
Well, I think I'm pretty great. I think I'm a great gift to
I think you're a great gift
humankind.
to humankind too. Anyway, I just think humility is cool is what I was trying to say with that. It wasn't cool when I was in high school, but it is now.
Oh man, I think I'm tapped out. That was a hard one for me.
Because you went all heavy.
Well, I went back to that like place.
Lonely girl place.
Yeah.
Lonely girl in a little lonely world.
I mean, it's a hard place, but
sitting by
not there forever.
herself.
You're not there forever.
She's with no one else.
Are you making this up?
Yeah. It's about you.
Thank you.
Sorry, baby. No, it's fair.
Is there anything you want to plug or talk about before we say adieu?
We have some gigs coming up. You can follow us online to find out when they are, because I don't know them off the top of my head.
I think we're taking a little bit of a break.
Megan's taking a little bit of a break with the gig life because she is burning out.
Just a tad.
And also she is working on recording. And also, come to think of it, I might also take a little bit of a break of a gig life because I'm on the like final stretches of my EP. So
that's true. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, so we'll see how many gigs we're doing. Right now we have a few on the calendar that we'll just let you guys know about as they come.
Couple in the pipeline, but I believe September is like for the most part
our
chill.
Rest month.
Yeah. So we get to just chill, do our podcast.
Go see your family.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, we do have one gig in September, but we'll talk about that later. The Siren.
September 3rd.
Well, that's why I said I'll check it later.
Well, I think this is coming out like in a couple weeks or something.
I know, but I just didn't want to have to do the work to look at the calendar.
Oh, it's a hard time for Sherell.
It's hard to be me.
Sherell says that constantly. It's hard to be me in like the most funny moments. I'm trying to
Pity me.
She says that quite frequently.
I also pretend I give Aliko a voice when he's like whining.
If you're new here,
Aliko's our adored little brat puppy. We have two. Kais is an angel. Aliko is not. Anyway, when Liko's being a brat and he's throwing himself on the ground, being a dramatic little dickhead and throwing a fit,
I believe you said that.
I give him a voice. Oh, it's hard to be me. I am a Bill.
We frequently like say things for our dogs.
You have such a hard life. Pity me.
Did you find out when our performance
It's on the... Oh, dang it.
She forgot again.
It's called ADHD. Lovely. It's the 3rd.
September 3rd at... Do you know what time?
2:30.
Oh, it's an early one.
Yep.
I won't be able to have my brunch.
Don't you do brunch at 11? Isn't that when it is?
I don't know. Yeah, September 3rd at the Siren in Morro Bay. And we are opening for the...
Cassie Nichols.
Cassandra.
No one calls her Cassandra Nichols.
Secret? Is that a secret?
I don't even think that's her name. Cassie. That's her name.
I don't know.
I'm offended on her behalf. It is Cassie Nichols.
Oh,
is her name really?
Sorry,
Cassie, is your name Cassandra?
Please
text
comment.
me. That's a whole different world. I don't even know what to do with that.
But she's very, very talented. Yes. We're excited to play.
She played at our wedding. Do you remember that?
Do I remember that?
Yeah.
Do I remember one of our close friends playing music at our wedding?
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah.
Or were you just like looking into my eyes, fully in love and enraptured with me?
I fully remember.
Good.
Our wedding.
That's what I want.
It's not all a blur. I remember. Plus, we have pictures to prove it.
But don't you think that's what brides say about their wedding? It was all a blur.
No.
That's what people say all the time. Oh, it was all a blur.
People say that when you don't have that long to talk. Right?
Yeah, but I swear I've heard brides say that about their weddings.
Well, I don't. I remember everything.
You remember every detail.
Cool. So you can come see us September 3rd if you would like to see us play soon.
Yes, somewhere in Morro Bay, California.
Stay tuned for updates on Sherell's EP. Still be a little bit, but and my song. I'm still working on a song. Yes. And I'm almost done recording, and then do fun photo shoots and stuff.
All kinds of fun things are happening. Hear it first, folks. I'm a loony. I'm hungry.
We've had a long day, but a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us at our place.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week, and you better come back, or else.
Or else we'll track you down and drag you by the ear back to our place.
Why by the ear?
Because that's what you do with people when they're in trouble. You like snatch them by their ears.
No. Don't scare them away.
Oh, wait, before we go, don't click off yet. Gosh. Leave a review.
Oh, yeah. If you made it this far, congratulations. It's been, I think, kind of a long episode, but
you're the first.
What?
You're the first who's made it this far.
You have no way of knowing that.
It's called analytics. I study them.
If you made it this far, please leave a 5-star review or 4. I will settle for 4.
I will not.
Preferably a 5. And it really helps us. I'm sure it's really nice to feel validation. And if
it's a 1 star, I'm gonna assume it's a joke. unless you
hater.
give back good feedback.
Yeah. Those haters be knocking on our
We
door.
got one. Let's be real. Somebody gave us a 1 star and didn't explain
that was
it.
on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, somebody gave us a 1 star, didn't explain it, and it brought down our average.
Like they went like 1 click and they didn't
And then
like
click
explain themselves. I wish I could have had a conversation with them. Like, hey,
hack them.
what didn't you like about it? How can we change things to better appease you, person?
I don't care to appease people. I just want to talk to my wife at our place.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks for coming to At Our Place with Megan and Sherell, and we'll see you next week
time
at our place.
Bye.
Bye.